Great stories are about great characters. A great character is at the center of every great story, but how do you write a great character? Well, I'm going to give you 7 secrets for writing amazing characters that will drive your story and help you tell an amazing, great story that changes the world. But first, go into the description and click on that link to download a free ebook, epic fantasy ebook. And remember to follow and share this great YouTube channel so we can get this content out to more people, all right? Peace. Welcome back to Great Stories Change the World. This is the YouTube channel where a fantasy science fiction author, that's me, goes over great stories. I do reviews of movies and books and TV shows, great stories. Why are they great? Why are they not great? I also give some writing tips like this video here on how to infuse your writing with amazing aspects that will make people want to turn the page or keep watching or keep reading, whatever it might be. All right. So first I'm going to do a little update on my own writing. I've got 3 books coming out next year. I just got done with NaNoWriMo. I kind of participated in it this year, although I've been writing a screenplay for NaNoWriMo instead of a book. So I've got about 20,000 words, which is about right for a full-length feature film screenplay. It's called Rise of Night. It's science fiction horror. So I'm going to be working on that over the next month, kind of revising it through the Christmas holidays. And like I said, I've got 3 books coming out next year. The first is going to be in January. It's going to be The Shield of the King. It's Elowin's first book, the first book of my Elowin series. And it's coming out in January. I've already got some great official professional reviews. I can't wait to share that stuff with you. And that's what's coming out for me. So if you want to see more of my writing, I'm going to have more of that coming on this YouTube channel. When we come back in January, I'm going to take a little break over the holiday. And we're going to get into some more writing. I'm going to share some more writing, some stories here on the channel. So make sure you subscribe and share so we can kind of get into this. I'm going to be looking for some interaction and stuff from people as I write a story. All right, I'm going to kind of show you guys as I write a story how you can do it, right? So that's all coming up. But today I'm going to do 7 secrets for writing a great character, an amazing character. And I'm going to be using a very well-known character that we all sort of know about, and especially if you're in fantasy science fiction, Han Solo. Now you may or may not like Han Solo as a character, but Han Solo is going to be my example as I go through these 7 secrets for writing a great character. And maybe in January, before I get into writing my story, we might go through how I did this with the character for my story in January. But today we're going to be going over Han Solo. We're going to use Han Solo as an example. So, secret number 1 is a motivation. You have to give your character motivation. What do they want most in life? What do they long for? Give them something universal that a lot of different people long for, or we all long for to some degree. And by the way, I am doing this in a specific order. So yes, you kind of have to do these in order. You don't really have to, but I would suggest trying to do these in order. What does this person want more than anything? In Han Solo's case, he wants freedom. He wants independence. He wants to make his own choices. So that's why he really doesn't want to even be part of the rebellion. He doesn't want to be part of the empire. That's why he's a smuggler, because he's got this sort of independent mindset. He's a rogue. He's a scoundrel sort of thing. But really, he's just an independent-minded person who doesn't want other people telling him what to do. Now, of course, there's a problem with that, which we'll get to. But that's kind of his motivation. And what will your character's motivation be? What do they want more than anything? Do they want law and order? That could be what they want. Do they want justice? Do they want revenge? Like, what is their primary motivation deep within themselves? Okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is a specific goal. Now that you have a motivation, this sort of broad but specific enough longing that your character has. What's the goal of the story for that person? All right, now Han Solo isn't the main character, so it's not the main goal of the whole story. But however, he does have a goal. So if it's a main character, so you need to do this with all of your characters, but especially your main character, but all of your main characters, Han Solo being one of them in Star Wars, needed to have a goal. What was his goal? They set it up in the beginning. He needs to get money so that he can pay off Jabba the Hutt so he can be free. So he's not going to be beholden to Jabba the Hutt, and he's got bounty hunters after him and all of that sort of stuff, right? So that's his goal, to get money. He's not really greedy. He is a little bit maybe, but really it's an issue of freedom for him. He wants to be free of this Jabba the Hutt, right? Of the big criminal guy. Now, so that's his specific goal. Now, for your character, what will the specific goal be if they want revenge? How are they going to get revenge? What do they want to do? Who do they want to kill? Or maybe they want to betray somebody or whatever it might be. The motivations, by the way, can be good or bad. And so the goal needs to align with the motivation, right? Now, we're getting into number 3. Right? We're getting to number 3, and that means what are the fatal flaws? So your character needs to have a fatal flaw. Usually it is connected, and it should be, really, if you want to make a great, well-rounded, interesting character, it needs to be connected with the flaw, with the motivation. I'm sorry. So your flaw needs to be connected with your motivation. So what is Han Solo's flaw? Well, he's so interested in being free and independent, he becomes isolated. Does this make sense? All right, you got to see this because he's willing to get his goal. He doesn't really want to commit to anybody. He doesn't want to commit to any sort of cause. So it's kind of hampers his morality in a certain sense, and that's a flaw for his character. It makes us kind of not like him a little bit. We understand that he wants to be free and independent, so we like that part of him. But then when he's like, no, I don't really care about the Empire can do whatever they want. Even when he sees them doing horrible things like blowing up an entire planet, right? He's still like, don't involve me in your cause. I'm just going to go do my own thing. So but that's connected with his desire for freedom and his longing for freedom, which in and of itself isn't bad. But when you do certain things, or there's maybe some flaws in your personality, and maybe he's been hurt. Maybe you can explain why he has these flaws, why he doesn't trust people, whatever it might be that isolates him. But the isolation is an issue, all right? And I could go into how Star Wars really does this well, makes us still care for Han Solo, even though he appears kind of greedy and kind of has this moral problem. And that's mainly Chewbacca's role, right? Chewbacca is the role where, yeah, he can isolate himself, but still he has some idea of loyalty and friendship and community through Chewbacca. And so we can see why he would make other decisions later, okay? That's number 3. Number 4, now that you've got the flaw, and you need to come up with your character's flaw, number 4, we're going to get into a distinct personality traits, mannerisms. How do they look, okay? How do they look? How do they act? So Han Solo is tall. He wears that vest and the white shirt. Like his whole outfit doesn't change in the whole thing. I know they wear the stormtrooper outfits there for a time, but still, it doesn't change, right? Even when he's flying, for Luke Skywalker, he changes into the whole pilot outfit, when he's in the X-Wing, but Han Solo doesn't do that. He's going to stay who he is, and he's going to stay in that very same outfit with the boots and the pants with the lines on them, and he's got the holster, and he's got the swagger, and like the whole look, the whole attitude that he has is definitively Han Solo. And you need to give your character something that distinguishes them from everybody else visually, attitude-wise, personality-wise, and makes them different from everyone else in your story, so that when they come on the scene, you know it's them. You can just mention one of those distinctive traits In a movie, it's easy, right? Because you see them on the screen. But in a book, you might have to describe something about them that's distinctive, and you immediately know that's who this character is. That's the character. So it can be the way they dress, again, their attitudes, their height, their hair color, eye color. Don't make everybody have blue eyes, right, or brown hair. Just switch it up. Switch up different people. Bring some diversity and difference within the characters, right, and make them each distinctive in some way. And that leads me to number 5, and I kind of put this on a separate secret, right, which is to give them their own voice. So this, whether it's a movie or a book or a TV show or short story, you need to give your character his or her own distinctive voice. Now, what do I mean by that? So for Han Solo, as our example, he's sarcastic. He makes little cracks. I think he might be the only one that cusses in the whole thing, but I can't really remember. There might be 1 or 2 words, right? But he also uses these phrases, and I think it goes all the way up through Empire Strikes Back. When he meets the princess, remember, he's kind of against authority. He wants to be all on his own. He doesn't want to be told what to do. So here comes a princess, and she's a senator, and she's used to being in charge, and she tries to take charge. And so he bumps against that. He resists that, but he also uses phrases, right, with his language. He calls her your worshipfulness and your highness, and he's mocking her authority with his words. And so he's got distinct phrases that he's the only one that uses them, right? And so we can kind of say the same thing for a lot of these characters in Star Wars. They're each so distinctive, and again, George Lucas did a lot of that on purpose. If you like it or don't, that's fine, but we all kind of know these characters enough to kind of see some of this stuff. So for your character, what is their voice? What kind of phrases do they use? What's their language? And again, as you see from Han Solo, it's all connected into his personality, his motivation, his goals, right? All his voice is all interconnected, right? So we can see that in Han Solo. What's it going to be for your character? For your character, what are those phrases going to be? What kind of words? Are they the only? And have some phrases and words that only your character uses. Or it's an accent or something like that. Something that distinguishes them, again, from everyone else in the story, right? Now we're getting into secret number 6. All right, secret number 6, show, don't tell. Even in a book, a lot of authors kind of get off the track with this thing where they explain who a character is. It's called exposition. They tell us who the character is. And the best way to get people interested in character is to show them with action. Or that could be dialogue, it could be showing them through what they say, but show us the character. Give me something, especially in the beginning, that shows me and us, or the reader or the watcher or the viewer, who this character is. Now, what did they do for that with Han Solo? The very famous scene, one of the first scenes we see with Han Solo, he's waylaid by a bounty hunter who holds him at gunpoint, and it's right after he talks with Luke and Obi-Wan, and he's about to go, get the ship ready or whatever, but he just kind of gets sidetracked by this bounty hunter who Greedo or whatever, and holds him by gunpoint. And of course, this is somewhat controversial because in the original, he shoots first. Han shoots first. He just kills the guy. And because the guy is threatening him, and he knows that's kind of the world that he lives in. Now, of course, George Lucas, when he kind of redid these movies, he's changed it, where Greedo shoots first, and Han Solo responds with shooting him, right? Where he kills him in response. Now, here's the problem. Here's why a lot of people didn't like that. Number one, people get kind of weird about the original, right? You just make it, they love the original. Why are you changing the original, right? It was fine the way it was. Well, here's why it works better that Han shoots first, is because, this is going to go into number 7, we need to have a beginning point for Han Solo. Like I've already said, what's his flaw? He's willing to do some things and compromise some morality to get his goal and to get his motivation, which is to be free and independent. All right, so he's willing to he lives in this world of criminals, which is part of his flaw. He just chooses to go into this world of criminals in order to be free. But his flaw is he realizes he's not so free, right? That's kind of the problem with the way he's chosen to seek out his motivation, right? Is that he gets in with criminals, but criminals, there is some honor among thieves, but criminals can be a very dangerous group of people as well. And so in order for us to show some change and some growth in Han Solo, he has to shoot first. So they showed us something in the beginning that gave us a visual and an action that told us about his character, right? Instead of just expressly telling us, they showed us, right? So do that in your story. In the first scene or couple scenes where you introduce any of your main characters, give us something, especially your main character, give us something that shows us who they are. A choice that they make, a reaction that they have, something happens. And sometimes you got to put them in a situation like George Lucas did with Han Solo. Put them in a situation that makes them make a choice, and that will show us who their character is, okay? Number 7, lastly, but not leastly, this is all getting to a point of show us a transformative arc. Give your character an arc throughout the whole show, right? Whatever, the whole book, the whole movie. Give us a character arc. Now, in TV shows, it's a little different because you want that arc to maybe go across a season or a number of seasons, and you really want to keep your characters pretty similar. You don't give them big arcs because, when they reach goals by the end of, if they reach their goal, their life goal at the end of episode 1, right, then you don't really have much of a show. And so TV shows are a little different, but you still want to give an arc, a goal, and some transformative change across maybe a season, especially nowadays with the way media is today. But in a book or a movie, then you need to give us a transformative arc. How are they different from the way they were in the beginning? And for Han Solo, through all the adventures that they had and the Death Star and fighting off the TIE fighters, he found a community, but he was resisting this new community because he didn't want to get involved in their rebellion. He didn't want to get involved fighting against the Empire. This is dumb. This is suicide, whatever. But and so in the end, he makes a choice, not for money and not because he's going to get anything out of it necessarily, but because of the community that he finds, which we have a hint of that he's like this with Chewbacca, that he has this part of him that is loyal and desires community. And so we see this reflected in the choice at the end, where instead of just bailing on everybody, he comes in and saves the day and shoots Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker blows up the Death Star, and they're all heroes, and he gets the medal at the end and all that stuff, right? And so even at the end, by the way, Han Solo didn't change pretty much his outfit stayed the same. Other people changed, right? Luke Skywalker especially. But Han Solo's outfit didn't change because his character sort of changed, but he's still at his core that rogue. So all of that to say, how is your character going to change? How is your character going to be different at the end, right? They may get their goal, they may not get their goal. But one way, no matter what happens, it should reveal a transformation in your character from the beginning. How do they overcome their own flaws? How do they overcome the obstacles? All of this stuff has got to work together for them to get to the very end where you see a transformation has happened in that character and they are different than when they started. All right? So those are the 7 secrets of writing a great character. All right? So hopefully I didn't confuse anybody, but if you have any questions, put them in the comments, right? I'll love to answer your questions, and just tell me what you thought of my 7 secrets. On my TikTok and Instagram, I think I put on Instagram too. Someone asked me to do this, to kind of analyze the character of Rick Grimes from Walking Dead. You can analyze pretty much any great character, even in a TV show, with these 7 secrets. And the more you do it, the more you'll be able to do it with your own characters as you look at other characters that do the same thing. So again, leave me a comment about what you thought of the video, or any questions you might have about characterization and analyzing characters. And remember to write great stories. This is why I'm doing all of this. And we will see you later. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff that you do with these videos. Remember to do that so we can get more of this great content out there. And I will see you next time. Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great month. All right. Peace.